Well, I think we're alive. It is 3 o'clock. We must be live because we are always on time for our initiatives. And this roundtable features the usual suspects. Yours truly and Carlos Charles.
Yours truly.
Yes, sir. So today is going to be a very interesting discussion, Carlos. And for people who may not know, and they might be seeing this wonderful setup, we are Team Unity Dominica. We are Dominica's newest political outfit. Dominica is an island in the Caribbean, in the center of the Caribbean chain of islands. We have had a government in place installed for the better part of a quarter century, and we felt the need to create an edifice that would harness support and strength from all and sundry, uh, and to work towards a more inclusive sort of, not opposition, but progressive politics that would hopefully replace the incumbent team which has been in office, we think, for too long. So that's what TUD is about. We are not a team which promotes the reunification or unification of all parties. No. Our idea is that we unite on a strength of our differences and where those values that we share overlap or interact. So we're not about destroying groups or merging groups with groups. We're about working with all in the interests of all, with the view that this new idea in terms of electioneering would bear fruits. Because in Dominica, we are in a very unique situation. We are at a political stalemate where we think if a different approach is not adopted, the incumbent could continue to maintain the majority position in the government. And after 25 years is enough, probably too much. So that's what TUD is about. We represent growth, we represent progress, we represent newness, we represent unity, not the abandonment of all your parties. Maintain your party structure, but understand that they are different ideas. And we're asking that when any advancement is being made to promote a political cause, that our team at least is offered a seat around the table so we can add our little bit to the conversation moving forward. And with that said, we are going to talk about what we see as an emerging global community and Dominica being part of that global space and how it would be best if we embraced every aspect of our Dominicanness. And that's where I introduce Carlos Charles to join me on split screen so we can, of course, introduce him, hear from him in terms of his opening speech, and then for the next maybe 35, 40 minutes, discuss what is our view when it comes to the emerging kind of demographics of the Dominican people and our team's policy when it comes to inclusion moving forward. So, Carlos, again, no good afternoon. Welcome to the program. It's nice to have you here. I'm hosting today, so I might ask some big questions. I hope you're ready. You are the unity leader, so you should always be prepared for very difficult questions. I might even embarrass you today.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm prepared for being on the hot seat, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um, and the training and guidance that you provide over the course of, well, we're almost a year into this, have been well received. First of all, good afternoon to everybody. Good greetings to everybody, wherever you are. Whenever you get a chance to listen to it, whether you're listening to it live, welcome, or whether you watch the replay, welcome to you as well. My name is Carlos Charles. I'm a gentleman from Kinfield, from Dominica. Live in Kinfield, but I'm from Dominica globally. raised in Marigot, raised in Cottage, raised in Cochrane. I've, I've been Alex, do you know I used to live in Cochrane?
No.
Okay.
You
However, the first place I lived was in Goodwill, 16 Jolly Lane.
So you
Goodwill.
can run for you can run in many constituencies, man, Carlos.
Well, you never know. And I spend a lot of time in the community of Fokole as well.
Okay.
My friends, the yards in what they call the housing scheme,
Mm-hmm.
and my all other friends, the Johns as well, Lester John, Kevin John, Julius John Jr., and of course the parents Clara and Julius John Sr. Um, also, well, whoever I don't need to call everybody, but lots of people over the years that have been existing. But yes, today Alex, our
You have to
plan
be
was
careful. You have to be careful when you start calling names and saying you don't have to call everybody. As a politician, be careful. Be careful. Don't
no
try to
one.
say
I'm
one
calling my
name.
friends.
Eh?
Calling my friends. These are my friends,
So that's
and
all the friends you have. Okay.
a lot of them don't live in Dominica right now. Kevin
Okay.
is a preacher in Florida. The list goes on. But yes, today we're here to talk about our emerging Dominican community. And I'm here for it.
Mhm. No problem. But before we start, and there are a couple of issues that we're going to deal with and to have a wider conversation about it. And we invite those who are going to be joining us live to pose a question if you want to ask a question. We generally promote a very civil discourse where anybody can question us on anything whatsoever. We have no hidden agenda, no secrets. We'll be more than happy to respond to you, which is unlike other teams in the political sphere. Anything whatsoever you ask, we'll graciously deal with it and give you responses. But before we get into the specific areas, Carlos, I wanted to again reiterate because messaging is important. You do not stop. If you want something to stick, you repeat it, you repeat it, you repeat it. And sometimes you repeat the bad to stick it. Let's repeat the good to stick it. We are the only other party which contested in the last general elections in Dominica. We contested. Well, let us say instead we participated. The Dominican Labour Party, in the name of the party, contested and was widely expected to win even before. In fact, it was even believed that they would win all 21. And we say win meaning what win means, meaning to gain the seat, parliamentary
Mhm.
seat. I don't want to get into the weeds of how they win and what they do. All of that is elementary. The point I'm making is that everyone in the world, even people in the cemetery, knew that Labour was going to win 20, 21, possibly 20 seats. They won 19. So we participating was a decision that we took as a team in our second month with no funding, no money, no campaign, no canvassing, just putting
Well,
our.
you sure, Alex? Well, it is saying out there that we get a big money.
No, people say we had $1 million. It doesn't matter to them. It doesn't matter because the record will show. I mean, our brother Jason had one or two meetings, one that I knew if I was there. And
No,
you never had a meeting, Granby never had a
I
meeting,
went to another one of his. I attended two of his
like a
meetings.
block meeting, right?
Yeah.
Rose who never had, St. Joe never had. We participated because we felt it was prudent for another party to participate for the sake of Dominica's democracy, not to procure our own good, to save our, oh, we didn't participate, we didn't lose. And no, we knew we were going to be, beaten severely. That's why we didn't contest, we didn't campaign, we didn't do anything. We just put ourselves on the ballot, ladies and gentlemen. And even without campaigning, Carlos, we got over 100 votes. People are not seeing how significant that is.
So and with plenty campaigning against us.
Yeah, we're not even going to say that. That will work itself out in the next election. Because people who are actively on the ground with big loudspeakers doing their stuff, it doesn't matter, Carlos. All that's part of the game. We're looking at the positives now. That we participated because we think it was necessary for Dominica's democracy, not for the salvation of our party. And we did it without paying anybody, without having any event, without printing any major things, without even having an ad out. And we went in quiet, and we were able to get over 100 Dominicans voting for us. So I wanted to reiterate that this, to me and us, was a major resounding achievement. And if we go the next time and let's say we double our candidates and we do our campaigning and canvassing, we might get 1,000 votes. You never know. Maybe 2,000. That is how you build your brand. So we are not daunted. In fact, we are pleased that our name is gazetted as having participated in an election 2 months after our formation, Carlos. And I wanted to say that, and I'm asking you, Carlos, every opportunity you get, push that. Because that is the greatest achievement that as a team we have made, is to have contested in the general election on the island with our symbol and with a few candidates, I think 5. We didn't pick where we were going to say, we just picked where we wanted to put people. We didn't strategize, we didn't have any blueprint for anything. We just send guys up, guys, go ahead, enjoy the experience. And I say to some of the naysayers that if you think we contested and failed and whatever, fine. Give us a full campaign, full election of all our strategies, and we will see what happens next. But we think we will do better than 100 votes the next time. Probably we might get 10 times that or more. Probably we might get a seat or 2 or 3 or 4. You never know. One never knows. So we are starting small and we are building. If we get less than 100 votes the next time, we would not have done our job. If we get more, we're good. One of the things about it is that Carlos is a young man. Watch Carlos, not even a slight of gray hair. And the other members who contested are all people within the same age group. And we are speaking to people, We cannot say everything we're doing, but we think our brand is well established, highly respected, and the young people are excited about what we do. So I'm happy that you allow me to say that, Mr. Charles, before we get into the topic, but this has to be repeated every time we go live, Carlos. This is very significant.
I'm there with you, brother. Let's get on with it. And I will add though that the experience for me was a good one. Meeting with the people one-on-one, although we didn't have any real activities, so to speak. But with the general movement on the ground, people are embracing the idea generally, but with more organization, I see great things ahead for Team Unity.
I only see positivity moving forward. All right, so now that has been said, my brother, let us look at the emerging Dominican community, citizenry, citizenship, culture, and I think there are 2 particular cases that I want us to look at today. And Carlos, I would like you to articulate on both, and I would, of course, add some content as well. One of those is something that we observed held in Dominica a few weeks ago, where our Dominica Chinese community had a display for children born of, I guess, adult Dominican Chinese citizens or residents. And that was held in Dominica. And I was moved because I saw a nation living in another nation and maintaining its native culture through young people, many of whom I think, or maybe all of whom are Dominicans. And that is very significant. Children,
More than likely birthed Dominicans.
more than likely birthed in Dominica. And whatever means, or by whatever means you became Dominican, there is no prejudice to that. So, and even if they are not Dominicans, but they are in Dominica and in our space and displaying the beauty of the nation in the Dominican culture. And that is the kind of thing that we embrace as a team. That ties into our policy of inclusion. And our policy of inclusion, I'll speak about it more, Carlos, when you talk a bit more about the event. When the event happened in Dominica, I was not there, so you can give me a bit more insights. But that speaks to our policy of inclusion. We think inclusion is a tool of progress. And yes, if you're going to progress in any nation, you have to include. And I embrace what our Chinese Dominicans did, especially the children. I applaud them. And on my own personal volition, I asked them to do more work. Not just more work with the Chinese children, but we want to see them spread the culture with our Dominican native children who are non-Chinese, so that our little children would learn to assimilate with little children, brown, green, pink, red, purple, whatever color or culture. That is what is going to be the strength of Dominica moving forward. So that is, I think, is quite significant. And the Chinese or the organizers should do a bit more of it. And we in Team Unity Dominica will be more than happy to stand with them as well, to partner with them, to share the connectivity, the culture between Dominica and China, children to children, adults to adults, and find ways to grow. Because I think if they are in the Dominica space, they are part of the Dominican reality and will somehow influence the future of our country. So, Carlos, that is tying into the inclusion policy of our team. That is why we're discussing it today. So, tell us a little bit about a little bit more about the event, where it was, when probably, and what is your own take on it?
I think the event you make reference to is an opening which was held over the Easter holidays of a playground that was set up in the People's Park for children. And in my own observation, I noticed that the children, the Chinese children, were displaying I think the day was significant to them as well. It was a Chinese holiday or something, so to speak. But what they were displaying aspects of their own native culture from back home in China. Um, to add to that, we as Dominicans, we don't live only in Dominica. We don't reside only in Dominica. Look at you. You are in the United States. You have you maintain your Calibishi roots, where you plant your do your backyard gardening and so on and so forth. And they embrace that. I'm sure that your friends or persons you interact with in the US, they accept what you do. To tie that in locally, our our Chinese nationals, well, they are Dominicans, those who are Dominicans. We need to include them and embrace them as they share their culture, and as well share with them our own culture as well, so that we can push the Dominican brand, grow together, inclusiveness, so to speak. I myself, in growing up, I went to school with Chinese nationals from primary school all the way through to high school, and they're actually good people. We had good interactions. I don't subscribe to the segregation that I see some people attempting to push online. We
Hold on,
have.
Carlos. Carlos, you lose me here, man. You lose me here. No, no, no. We were talking about the event as I think a positive, and you're talking about segregation. Is there
Well,
something? Huh?
well, I've noticed online some persons spreading some negative connotation towards it.
Negative
Um,
connotation towards that display of the Chinese children in Dominica?
yes,
What is it? What are they saying? What is the problem with that?
it words to the effect that the Chinese are taking over Dominica. not like not like anybody else can take over your country that is predominantly held by you. I don't see the issue.
But
Because for example, in a high school with one, two, three, three, three classes in a form. I'm not sure how they have it now. At one point, I know they had more. There were two foreign nationals in the entire form. You
but
understand?
but but what I'm saying there, so there are people who believe that by the children doing this, the Chinese are taking over.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. But I didn't quite see it that way, and I don't think the Chinese are taking over. I think so. So when our children put on a display at the Ukrainian Hall or at the ballroom in Manhattan or in Chicago or wherever, that is how the people who the well, I guess we have no natives who really speak out loud against those things anyway. So the point is, so it should only be native Dominicans and not native because natives are Carinagos. So it should only
Yeah.
be those quote unquote Dominicans who must have children do display. And any
Mm-hmm.
other group is a
Shouldn't.
takeover, is a problem.
Is a problem.
So Dominican children must not dance the Leke Jimping and Bele and quadrille that we dance all around the place.
And all over the world too.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't sound right to me that anybody in their good head would think that that's a problem. No, I understand the problem in terms of the great number of people overrunning the pretty much the local Dominicans. I'm not sure what is the population of the Chinese Dominican community, which again, I don't know. We have had different groups of people live in Dominica over time. We have had the Lebanese Dominicans. We have had the Arabs, well, which are Lebanese to an extent, from different strands of family as well. And people have come and gone, and Dominica remains Dominica. In fact, most of the most successful Dominicans today are people who are not traditional Dominicans. Look at the Astafans and Nassifs. I mean, these are people who came to live here from other shores and they have made Dominica their home and made Dominica proud. Did they take Dominica from us, Carlos?
No. As a matter of fact, they contributed to the development of Dominica.
Yes.
I, 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 I can single out a few, but that may not be necessary. We know of the contributions that they have made to the positive development of Dominica. Some of them have become DJs. Some of them have contributed largely in business in Dominica and providing employment for our community. They have been involved in our political system. We have loved them in our cultural activities, and so on and so forth. The same should be extended to all forms of society. As,
I would agree.
as recently as Friday, I attended a modeling showcase put on by Miss Augustine
Mhm.
and Dominican next supermodel, and incidentally, she just started a male supermodel showcase, and one of the models is of African birth,
Yes.
Nigerian.
Oh, I should have said our Nigerian community as well.
They are growing. We embrace them.
Look at we have some major doctors. In fact, the
One of
first
our major artist singers, she
is
is
a
Nigerian,
Nigerian citizen. Well, that is Nigerian
African.
sister. And I mean, I do not want to really call him to single people out, as you say, but the last boy, it had not to call Dr. Adi Nime and Dr. Fadi Pay. I mean, these men are Dominicans. Did
And
they
they are
take Dominica away from
contributing.
us? Did they rob anything from us? No, they give us. They enhanced who we are. So our Chinese children should be embraced. And I really lament the fact that if you're true with what you're saying, and I believe you, Carlos, that there are people even questioning the place of the Chinese in Dominica and the children in particular. That is not what God asked us to do. And that's not what we're going to do. In fact, our agenda of inclusion embraces this. And I say publicly that we're looking forward to work with the Chinese and other Dominican communities to enhance inclusion, especially when it comes to children. I mean, they were so, didn't you see them, Carlos, how beautiful the children were? So I think, yeah, it is just too easy not to have observed this and to do something very profound and positive about it. I believe Carlos might have been frozen, if I'm not mistaken. I know we are still live because I'm seeing myself. So I'm going to continue speaking until I think Carlos regain his voice. So Carlos, you let me know because I'm not hearing you. I think we have dropped Carlos, but he'll join us back. My partner, you didn't pay your internet. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
here.
Sorry, I know I kind of tried to get you back into the fray, but you were frozen. But yes, so as I was saying, this is just when we decided to speak about it, it was to promote our own understanding of inclusion, not to even speak about the bad. So I'm really sad that there's any negative towards the children and in the Chinese display, and that's not us. And we have cited examples where people from other shores, from faraway land and from nearby land. Look at one of our major promoters in Dominica right now is a Jamaican.
Danger Dane.
Danger Dane. What did Danger Dane take away from us? He gave
He
us
has
more than
added.
we.
He
He, he,
added.
he added to value. I mean, I see a picture of he and my partner, and
Miguel.
I was pleased to see he and Miguel pose for a picture after this little promotional squalor. It's normal, it's okay. People fight it out and then they work together. So why can't we fight it out in politics and find a way to work together like Miguel and Danger Dane? So again, that's another man who's from another land, who's here making Dominica his home. Are we going to say that he's taking over, he's taking from us? Why can't he be a promoter too? Or DJ
Also,
too?
hold on. Dane is a Dominican.
Okay, sorry.
Dane
Dominican
is
Danger
a
Dane.
passport carrying Dominican.
Enough respect.
Yeah.
So this is the point that we're making. And again, as I say, I regret that there are some who believe that this signal is a dangerous thing in our culture. These people they are doomed to their own thinking, and I'm so sorry that this is the case. I hope more people are not see it our way and would embrace our attitude when it comes to inclusion. and moving forward. Of course, we are not naive, but we are not going to shun people because of political differences. So that is one color. I don't know if you have to add anything to that. I know you were frozen a while, but that's one
No,
of the ideas.
I think I'll just making reference to a lot of the successful people in Dominicans who came from foreign descent. Um, 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 Largely, I remember, God rest his soul. I think he was part of your theater group as well.
Michel Raffo,
Yes,
A&M Sound System,
very talented guy.
one of our best dramatists, a very skillful volleyballer and official, creative handyman. I mean, amazingly talented. I
He,
cried
he,
blood when my brother left us because I just had to tell Michelle what and when, and Michelle is there half an hour before. His acumen for work was second to none. Commitment. My God, man, I cried blood when my brother died, man. You know what I'm saying? He come from that culture, from that ethos. And who can say anything wrong about Michelle? He continue to rest in peace. So this thing about being singling out people because of their race, to me, that's even racism. If you ask me, you know.
it's not that even. It is.
Okay.
It is.
And we should and we should stem that out. In fact, Carlos, we didn't really plan to go to talk about that, and probably we will not talk about it in details. But I have been observing a new discussion, well, not new, somewhat new, in local politics, where people believe that two communities in Dominica on one political side are the best or most affluent, and they promote those two as different from every other or better than any other. And that is a little problem. Now I'm observing, I'm not making any big statement as yet. I'm not taking any position. I'm just observing that this is now a new political discourse, which can lead to the divide or greater divide in the politics. Because I'm not from any of those communities.
To
And I
somewhat
think,
to somewhat segregate those communities from the greater Dominican community.
yeah, I'm observing. I don't know if you observe it too, but I'm observing that. And I'm like,
I have
boy,
observed it as well.
I think that's a dangerous trend because, oh, no, 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 no. No, you can boast of it, you can protect it, but to say that you are divorced and different and you're in your own space, you're your own, what do you call it again? You're in your own province, in your own,
Yeah,
I
that's
forget the name, some term that's been used. It's wrong. Well, not really wrong, but it is something that we have to look at. And that goes into the same idea of dividing. Right. So the other topic, Carlos, is again, and title again, I guess I'm sorry. We are on the Chinese today. um, a fight that I witnessed on video, and that
oh yes.
I
So
guess,
that it took social media by storm.
yeah, many people. Now, because of the basic stereotypes, it was funny, but it was very serious to see two grown people fighting. And I didn't see them as Chinese; I see them as humans,
Mhm.
people. So the fact that they were fighting, I see people had some joke about it, about the kung fu and whatever. It's okay, but that again is stereotypical, eh?
Mhm.
And we must be careful, eh? We must be very careful. And I see a lot of comments from people who I think should know better, who have been, prejudicial, maybe even borderline racist, suggesting that they should use kung fu. Anyway, let me not comment on the negatives. Let's comment on what we saw in terms of the humanitarian side. And it bothered me a bit because here we are, two people are fighting, men, and we prefer to stand and film and say not to share them, let them kill each other. I heard that. And I'm saying, is this in Dominica? Is this our people? And what could cause us to think that we should not pat people based on their race? If it was if it's me and Carlos that fighting right now, Fellas say, ah, Alex, boy, you and Carlos, all man can be fighting, boy. They would cheer us. If it was Matt Peltier and let's say, what's the upper name at DBS again? Newsman, the sportsman.
You leave my partner Gavin alone.
And my partner, you know, my brother. If it was him and Matt that fighting, I would jump in the middle and share, but I would share the Chinese too. I would not say let them fight each other because and I'm telling myself, where is all of that coming from? Two big men are fighting. They obviously have odds against each other. And I hope that a good Dominican patted them. I think somebody did pat them, you know. I didn't see it on the video, but I think somebody was moving into the shot and would have shared them.
You see, Alex, it's a result of a larger problem. I mean, yes, it shows a bit of racism on our part, yes, and that is sad, but there's also a bigger problem that we need to find a way to address where we are busier to look for the likes than to solve the problem. Similarly, like if there's an accident, the first thing someone does is look for the camera phone, pull it out to go live, or take a video to share among their friends, take a picture to share among their groups, and then it reaches online on the social media platform. So you see, and those things, when you put those things out there, you cannot take it back. You cannot take it back, and it shows.
Also, the clicks and the likes and the following they're going for.
Yes.
So that doesn't mean that they are really bad. No.
No.
Okay. Because I hate to think that we have gotten to the point where we are selective in terms of our humanity. Because I think two Chinese men are fighting in Rosewood. That's a serious problem. It's like you and me fighting me. No, we used to try and intervene and say, no, guys, no, let's not do that.
So Alex, you never fight?
I had one fight. One. And not a real fight, a slap I made and run. I couldn't take the bullying anymore, you know, the kicking. In my days as a boy, Kung Fu was a big thing, and fellas used to just take long jump and kick me in my chest, you know, kicking practice, because I was never a fighter. But one time when I got a kick, I decided to make a blast. I make a blast, and
I was never a fighter, but one of my closest friends in Dominica, we became friends after a fight, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah. I never did fight. Never
and
did.
Then, but then it was another thing that was carried on. As soon as it started, the teacher separated us. Teachers and other students separated us.
Yeah, that's what we are taught to do, to separate fights and conflict.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be.
And in the case of the Chinese men, there was no weapon involved.
No.
So you couldn't say I was scared to go there.
Yes.
The man is fist we cool point man, you might get a little wash, but go and stop the man.
Two fellas just come, one pull him left, one pull him right. Fight stop.
I mean no man. So and then you have them go and take a drink. Let's go and have a drink. That's how they used to do it in the village in Calabishi. And in those days, fellas didn't have cutlass and guns. Well, yeah, people use cutlass for gardening and little guns for hunting. But now fellas passing and wayside shooting and go, you look, I'm not telling you to go in front of a bullet. But in the case of those two men fighting like a fist fight, a little brawl, I think it would be nice if there was a part of the video that showed where they were parted and have them cool out. So that again, and as you said, Carlos, I don't think it's anything really negative, but it talks about something bigger, where we're looking for likes, we're looking for benefits, we're looking for, I guess, it's business. We're looking to cash in on our people's behaviors.
It shows a bit of lack of empathy on our part, and that is something we need to look at as human beings.
Yeah, and I think we have lost a bit of that in Dominica, because I know politician man, not a politician man, a professional, a chartered accountant, died about a year plus ago. And when he died, I saw again former politician, very well-known public figure, commenting publicly, rejoicing on the man's death. I was going to screenshot it, but I didn't have the energy to. I mean, how does one get to the point from where we were in Dominica to where we are now? Because you didn't like the man's politics or what the person might have done or didn't do, you are now going on record to rejoice. I'm not a hypocrite. People like that should die. He died too late. So I don't know. I guess, and I
When you
hope
put
that
those things out there, Alex, what sort of example are you setting for those coming behind? Not even persons like myself, but the children. Because I'm an internet child, but those coming behind me are even more connected than how I am right now.
and they will find those comments, and those people have children, and their children going to have children. How are you going to own this by you saying that about someone who is deceased? What is the justification? Are you a patriot? No, you can't be a patriot to do that to somebody. But maybe if you're a patriot, you're a special kind of patriot. So those two incidents cause us to focus on our wider program and policy of inclusion. And we have referenced other Dominican citizens who came from different shores and who have not taken our country away from us, who have just helped to build what Dominica is today. And I think
Yeah,
the Chinese
and continue
continue
to
to do so.
do so in major ways.
And I mean, we have many Americans who have been in Dominica who are still living in Dominica. One of our major chiropractors or whatever person is an American person who lives in the Valley area. I mean, we have a number of American professionals. And you know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying, Carlos?
Mm-hmm.
We are part of this global mix, man. Dominica is not its own commonwealth or its own planet. I never subscribe to that. I see people making memes on that and singing songs on that. I'm not in that. We are part of this global community. And we have to get serious because things are happening around us. I told you, Carlos, I spoke with you a couple of times from New York last week. And I'm telling you, man, the things that I see happening with young people in the global community.
The global diaspora.
Man, our young people in Dominica, hélas.
We have to step up.
I wish I could offer an opportunity for, and they would do it too, but they're not given the opportunity to step up. And it hurts my heart to be able to work with 1,000 young people from around the globe. And I can't even work with at least 2 progressive young people who think that this is what we can do. Because 1, some of them are scared. 2, they think it's so it is. Boy, so it is. Where the young people that I was working with for a week do not care about how it is. They want to say how it should be.
How it's going to be.
And they decide how it's going to be. You know who addressed the children, Carlos, at the opening? The Secretary General of the United Nations. And pick up data from them in real time. I mean, amazing. So I think as a team, that is our focus, to include, to build capacity, to give strength and support to emerging generations. Carlos, you and I, maybe me before you, will go to a different phase of our life. So we have to fix this to pass it on to the children. And if we don't, we might lose our country. You see how the Haitians are suffering today? The Venezuelans are fleeing in droves, the Syrians, even the Nigerians. Nigeria is still a beautiful place, but the country is marred with selfish, self-serving people. And that is increasing more and more in Dominica. That is why we are part of the discourse. And that's why the inclusiveness that we speak about is part of our agenda. And Carlos, tell me, because you know our program and plans, did I say anything wrong here? Did I castigate anybody?
You're right on point. And anyone who doesn't think that we're saying the correct thing, or we will hear somebody speaking similar to what we are already saying right now. And even to anyway, let's leave that. But we're in the correct path.
Carlos, you know things I don't know, man, Carlos. You can't have me surprised, Carlos. Remember, I'm the GS, eh?
We'll have to have more meetings so we can discuss those things. But yes, we'll hear more about that in the as time goes on.
Yeah.
And I'm calling on persons to denounce those kind of behaviors, discourage it. Let us work with our foreign nationals because they are nationals as well. Let us embrace them. They have contribution to make towards the development of our country. Me and Alex and Irwin and Kenty and the others alone cannot do it.
No, man.
We have to work with um the Kens. One of my past fellow students. His name was Ken. His Dominican name. Don't forget to greet them. Ni hao ma. Embrace their language. Dominicans study in China, and
Yeah.
that has contributed a lot. I know some young professionals who have studied over there who are fluent in the language and are contributing towards the development of Dominica, even using their knowledge of the language, they translated in the courts.
But it cannot. How can it be wrong to embrace other cultures now?
And it's not just the Chinese speaking as well, the Spanish as well. My both parents are fluent Spanish speaking persons. I'm not being a lover of the language because they used to use it you know when the older people talking to among themselves in patois, they don't want the younger people to know what they're saying.
Which was an error, a big mistake we have made in Dominican and continue to make. People still do it. The people start to talk to me in patois among children. I say, no, it's okay, no. I said, don't speak to me in patois in front of them. Let's talk to them in patois, or Creole. So I think that was an error. But anyway, the point made.
But I say a lot of that to encourage us to share our native culture with those of foreign descent. Let us teach them our patois. Let them learn the basics of the Kalinago. You know, don't leave it for the school alone to do. Let us do it by interaction with them. You see, they're starting as children, trying to show their culture. Let us embrace it. Let's find out what does that mean, and not cry them down, castigate them. They will be there after us.
Yeah, because the world that is now being materialized has gone past a lot of us. Some people who don't want to accept certain things will have no choice, but will be left behind. The children want inclusion. The children want to talk to the peers. That's why I'm telling you again. I see children, young people just sit down on the thing and just pull the system. People that they had never met before in their lives. People who do not even speak their language. They find a way to communicate. I mean, the beauty of youth and children working together is priceless. Our children are ready to embrace other different groups of people and cultures, and we should not step in their way. And as a team of inclusion, our policies are geared towards that. In fact, we have a policy on China, we have a policy on America, we have a policy on Russia, we have a policy on Ukraine, we have a policy on England. We have about 10 different policies, white paper developed on the major nations in the world. We are not going to exclude any. Our aim is to be all.
Work with everybody.
Yeah, we have a policy on Taiwan, although we understand the one China policy.
One China policy.
We understand that. But there has to be a deliberate policy to understand the dynamics between Taiwan, China. So we know what we're working with. Our business in this is not to upset or to offend anyone, but it's to learn from anyone. And inclusion is key. And again, as we get ready to end, and as I said earlier, TUD is not bent on being the only party or consuming other parties. We are all about connecting, connection, oneness of purpose. We do not advocate for there to be one party running as, or all parties running as one. No, we don't advocate for that. We think our platform presents an opportunity for freshness and rebirth. And we're asking people, Dominicans, to devoid themselves of that party ideal, party brand, and see if our message is what you can work with, and you think there's a plan to gain political success, let's work together. That's what we're about. We're about inclusion, not separation. And some have tried, Carlos, to say that we are a divided team and we are a divided force, and our forces. No. We are what I said we are, and no amount of effort to try to paint us differently will work, because our work is about inclusion. Look at, we're talking about inclusion here today.
Reframing, Alex. Reframing, that's how they call it. The attempts to reframe.
Okay. Well, that won't work, man. As I said on my program before, that labels only work on you if labels suit you. Or you can tell a Fanta that the Fanta is a cook. No, it's a cook that there. If you tell somebody they are a con man and they would never a con person, they can't be. They would make the frame will not work. But if you tell a person who have con man acumen that they are a con man, it might stick. So some people are not visionary in terms of the things. They are short-sighted. They don't see beyond. We have spent some time to look beyond. Carlos, you know, we speak all the time. And all our ideas are thought through, we get advice, we do research, and then represent. And I think at the end of the day, our message will take root. We're not greedy for power. We're not too busy. We believe that whatever has to happen, as long as we do the work, will eventually happen. And our team will be in the government of Dominica.
And at the right time, it will bear fruit.
Oh, yes, we will be. We will occupy a seat in the government of our country one day.
Or two, or three, or four.
Yeah, or the majority position. You never know. You never know. We're working at that feverishly. So, my dear brother, that's all I wanted to engage you with today. I do not know whether you have anything else to add to the conversation, but I am good. I think we have used up enough time, probably the better part of the hour. So let's wrap up, because we are not going to go beyond my hour. You go beyond your hour when you're hosting your program, not me. All right. So let's wrap up before we end our program today, young man.
Yeah, but in closing, I just want to encourage Dominicans to embrace the foreign nationals, find ways to work with them. Right now it's Domfesta, and we need to share our Domfesta activities. And of course, Alex, I neglected to add that it's also the season of Mayfest in the community of Marigot. It was just launched last week, and there are 5 young ladies, I think, who are going up for Miss Mayfest, and they also have the community based events as well, and of course what everybody is waiting for, the International Artist Night, where they have local artists as well as foreign artists who come down. I think this year they have persons from the Dennery segment of St. Lucia coming in to be be part of that activities. But yes, don't forget to check out the Mayfest activities in Marigot, be part of the bar hotlines, and so on and so forth. But back to our topics, our topic at hand, we re our emerging foreign and national. We need to embrace those people and not look towards a pattern of inclusion in everything we do. Share our local our culture with them and embrace them as Dominicans.
Yeah,
This
in
is
fact,
my closing salvo as we, and thank you for having me. Thank you for hosting this program, brother.
no problem. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to add my voice. I'm more than pleased to present my face and to generally push the content. I should have done this from the start. And now I learn from my errors, Carlos. Never shall I hide away and shy away from doing what I think is necessary. So I will continue to be here with you as much as you invite me. I'll be here, Carlos. I always advise you as well to get other people to spread the wings, your wings. But whenever you call me, my dear friend, I'll be here to continue to push the good value of our team. And with that said, part of our policy on China is to increase trade. You see that thing called aid? We don't subscribe to that. We understand it and we will welcome it. But aid and trade must commensurate, must be balanced. In fact, there should be a greater emphasis on trade rather than aid. And there are a number of services and goods and products that we know we will promote, and we have looked at the feasibility of having those traded with China, the mainland China. And I know
Alex, I can give a hint now. Can I
no,
give a don't give them any hints?
no, 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 you crazy man. So we are going to promote trade, and we may talk about some of our foreign policy position on China, right? Eventually. But certainly I'm excited about the concepts that we have to tell us about trade. Can you imagine trading to China directly, certain particular Dominican products and services with the population of China?
And yes, we have things to trade with China.
Oh
Yes,
yeah, too much.
we do. We do.
In abundance.
Too much.
So we are excited about the prospects. We're waiting for the right moments to drop those ideas. And we know not just China, Canada, England, America, we have plans, guys. We have a full comprehensive plan to rebuild Dominica's economy from passports. Anyway, let's end the program. Until another time. Carlos, I'm excited. I don't know if you're going to have me back on Sunday, but I'm willing. Let me know if you want me on Sunday. Just let me know and I'll be here.
We'll discuss that. We'll discuss that, bro.
Yeah. This is our program. This is our round table for today. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.